Welcome to Sports Science Insight, the channel where we break down new scientific studies and turn research into practical knowledge for training, recovery, and human performance. Today, we are looking at the article Effects of 3 Strength Training Methods on Lower Extremity Strength, Jump, and Sprint Performance, a network meta-analysis. This study was published in Frontiers in Physiology in 2025 by Wang, Zhen, and Xiao. The main question is simple, but very important for coaches and athletes. What works best for lower body performance? Weightlifting, plyometrics, or traditional resistance training? The answer is not as simple as choosing one winner. This study suggests that different methods may have different strengths depending on the target: sprinting, jumping, or maximal strength. And if you want more evidence-based breakdowns on strength training, exercise physiology, sports performance, and training science, subscribe to Sports Science Insight. Let's break it down. Lower body strength and power are essential for sport performance. They influence sprint speed, jump height, acceleration, change of direction, and explosive actions in many sports. But coaches often face a practical problem. Training time is limited. Athletes cannot do everything all the time with the same priority. So the real question is not only which method is best. The better question is, best for what? If the goal is maximal strength, one method may be more useful. If the goal is reactive jumping, another method may fit better. If the goal is sprint acceleration, a different approach may be needed. That is the coaching dilemma. The best method depends on the target. The study compared 3 training methods. First, weightlifting training, or WT. This includes Olympic-style lifts and derivatives such as the clean, snatch, jerk, high pull, and related movements. The focus is rapid force production, power, and explosive triple extension through the ankles, knees, and hips. Second, plyometric training, or PT. This includes jumps, bounds, hops, and drop jumps. The focus is the stretch-shortening cycle, where the muscle tendon system stores and releases elastic energy quickly. Third, traditional resistance training, or TT. This includes exercises such as squats, leg press, leg extension, and similar strength movements. The focus is maximal strength, heavy loading, force production, and muscle mass. So all 3 methods aim to improve performance, but they use different routes to get there. This was a systematic review and Bayesian network meta-analysis. The authors searched 5 databases: Web of Science, PubMed, Scopus, Elsevier, and Springer. The final analysis included 17 studies and 394 participants, aged between 18 and 30 years. The study compared the effects of weightlifting training, plyometric training, and traditional resistance training. The main outcomes were maximal lower body strength, measured through 1RM style strength tests, squat jump, counter movement jump, and short distance sprint performance. This type of network meta-analysis is useful because it allows researchers to compare multiple training methods, even when not every method has been directly compared in every study. In simple terms, the authors tried to synthesize the global evidence and ask which method is most likely to rank best for each performance outcome. Here is the most important scientific point. The Bayesian network meta-analysis found no statistically significant differences across the training methods overall. So we should not say that one method clearly beats all the others. The evidence does not support one single training style as universally superior, but the study did find useful ranking signals. These rankings, called SUCRA rankings, suggest that different methods may fit different goals. Traditional resistance training ranked highest for maximal strength and squat jump. Plyometric training ranked highest for counter movement jump. Weightlifting training ranked highest for sprint performance. So the message is not one method wins. The message is no universal winner, but useful signals. Traditional resistance training had the strongest ranking signal for maximal strength. It also ranked highest for squat jump performance. For maximum strength, the SUCRA value was 0.95. For squat jump, the SUCRA value was 0.76. This makes practical sense. Traditional resistance training often uses heavy loads and controlled force production. Exercises like squats and leg press are well suited for developing raw strength and the ability to overcome inertia from a dead stop. The squat jump is also performed without a counter movement, so it depends heavily on concentric force production. That may explain why traditional resistance training ranked well for this outcome. The practical interpretation is simple. If the main goal is maximal lower body strength, traditional resistance training remains a very strong tool. Plyometric training had the strongest ranking signal for counter-movement jump. The Sucra value for counter-movement jump was 0.76. This also makes practical sense. The counter-movement jump uses a rapid downward movement followed by an explosive upward action. That means the athlete must use the stretch-shortening cycle efficiently. Plyometric training is built around this exact mechanism. It trains rapid eccentric to concentric transitions. It may improve tendon stiffness, reactive strength, and the ability to store and release elastic energy. So, for reactive jumping, plyometrics had the strongest signal in this analysis. But again, we need precision. This does not mean plyometrics are always superior for every outcome. It means that when the goal is reactive jump performance, plyometric training may be especially well matched to the task. Weightlifting training had the strongest ranking signal for sprint performance. The Sucra value for sprint was 0.77. This may be related to the nature of Olympic-style lifts and their derivatives. Weightlifting movements require rapid force production. They also involve explosive triple extension of the ankles, knees, and hips. That movement pattern shares some similarities with the force demands of sprinting, especially acceleration. Weightlifting may support high rates of force development and help athletes express power quickly, but this does not mean that every athlete must perform full Olympic lifts. Weightlifting derivatives, such as clean pulls, high pulls, jump shrugs, or loaded jump variations, may sometimes be more practical depending on the athlete's skill level and coaching environment. The key point is this: for sprint-related power, weightlifting had the strongest ranking signal in this meta-analysis. Now we need to be careful. These rankings are useful, but they are not guarantees. The overall differences between methods were not statistically significant. So the rankings should guide thinking, not create absolute rules. The average Pedro score of the included studies was 4.29 out of 10, which suggests moderate methodological quality. The sample sizes were also limited. The studies used different programs, different volumes, different durations, and different testing protocols. Real-world results also depend on the athlete's training history, technique, injury profile, load management, recovery, and coaching quality. For example, weightlifting can be powerful, but it requires technical skill. Plyometrics can be effective, but volume and landing quality matter. Traditional resistance training can build strength, but the transfer to sport performance depends on how it is programmed. So the key message is, rankings guide practice, but they do not prove certainty. So how can we use this tomorrow? If the goal is maximal strength and dead stop force, traditional resistance training is a strong choice. Use exercises such as squats, leg press, and other lower body strength movements. If the goal is reactive jumping and elasticity, high-quality plyometrics are a strong choice. Use jumps, hops, bounds, and drop jump variations with careful control of volume and landing mechanics. If the goal is sprint acceleration and explosive triple extension, weightlifting derivatives may be a strong choice. Use Olympic-style lifts or simpler derivatives when the athlete has the technical ability and coaching support. But the practical message is not to choose only one method forever. The best programs often combine methods systematically. Traditional resistance training can build the strength base, plyometrics can improve reactive expression, weightlifting derivatives can support rapid power production. The final message is simple: train the quality you want to improve, and build the complete athlete by matching the method to the goal. If this video helped you understand how to choose between strength training methods, subscribe to Sports Science Insight. Here, we analyze new scientific studies and turn them into practical knowledge for athletes, coaches, students, and anyone interested in evidence-based performance. Leave your comment below. If you could choose only one method for your sport, would you pick weightlifting, plyometrics, or traditional strength training? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.